Alright, so Planar Fissure is almost out on every server. I wanted to upload this earlier, but I didn't actually realize when it was coming out. As I'm uploading this, it did just come out on NA servers. It's been out on Europe and Asia, so I hope you did wait for this video. But I'm going to be taking you over every world and every ornament, talking about what I do and do not recommend. I'm going to go a little fast just because there's a lot of worlds, so be sure you are paying attention. For attention span's sake, I did attach gameplay on the whatever side, I don't know yet, just for you to watch while I am yapping. But before we do hop into it, stuck grinding in Honkai Star Rail, need Stellar Jades fast? We've got you covered. Head over to U7 Buy, your ultimate gaming hub for save fast and cheap in-game top-ups. Whether it's Star Rail or your other favorite games, U7 delivers instantly and players love it. Check out their Trustpilot reviews, they're actually top ranked. On the Honkai Star Rail direct top-up page, you can recharge your account in seconds. For example, 8080 Honorific Shards cost $99.99 in the official store, but on U7 Buy, you can see here it's way cheaper. Just pick your server, enter UID, pay securely, and boom, your account is instantly loaded. Want extra savings? Use code PRETSR at checkout for 5% off, perfect for last minute pulls, battle passes, or surprising a friend. And here's a bonus. If you spend $80 a month on U7 Buy, you can grab the Honkai Star Rail Express Pass for only 1 cent, which is nearly free. Click on the link in my description, recharge fast, save more, and keep blazing those trails. Alright, so starting it off with the first one, Space Sailing Station and Ageless. Don't recommend this at all. Space Sailing Station is never the best for any DPS. Ageless is relatively outdated. These sets are never going to be best in slot anymore, so it's generally not recommended to ever farm these. It's really only for people using it as a placeholder when they already have this from the beginning of the game. So do not bother wasting your runs on this. Next up, we have Talia and Vonwacq. Talia is relatively obsolete now, since if you're running Break, you probably pull the Dahlia, and the Dahlia will make it to where Forge is always going to be better, as Forge provides 4% more break effect on the set and also the speed bonus, so Talia is never going to be the best. It's only ever best for people that don't have the Dahlia, in which case, what are you doing if you're running Break, and then are taking them into battle without fire weakness. So for the most part, not recommended. Vonwacq, this set is still relatively valuable. Even if you're not going for hyper action, zero cycle setups, you can still very much use it just to make sure a character such as a debuffer like Xiaochu or ensure someone like Robin are the first ones to act in battle. So overall, this set is still valuable, but in this case, it would be better to pick something else and use Relic Remains on Vonwacq if you really need it. Next up, we have the worst value set ever with Pan-Cosmic and Celestial Differentiator. Some people can use Pan-Cosmic, but it's never best in slot. It's only really if you need that extra effect hit rate for characters that do have high effect hit rate requirements such as High Sleeves or Black Swan, but it's never their best. Celestial Differentiator is the worst set in the entire game. If you are running this set, you should probably delete your account. So in general, don't touch this world at all. Permafrost with Belobog and Inner Salsotto. Belobog, no one really uses this. It's only Japard and Fire MC, which are both characters that are not really ever used unless you're early game, and is not generally recommended worth farming. Inner Salsotto, this usually gets beat out by Duran, but if you're actually using it on an ultimate character such as someone like Saber, and you do have some characters that are follow-up that can at least use it, because the follow-up characters can use it, it's not like a big difference between Duran. You can still overall farm this, but in this case, it'd be something you'd also use Relic Remains on, since you most likely don't need Belobog. So farm something else. Rutilant Arena and Broken Keel is up next. Rutilant Arena is still a good set for anyone that is able to use it from basic attack and skill damage plus the crit rate. Very strong DPS such as Archer, Anaxa, Finon can all use the set. Finon has a slightly better set, but this one is not much worse. You can even use this set on characters like Buff, Jinglu, and Blade. They have better sets as well, but you can still use it on them. If you for some reason use Ayao Daneng, he can use it as well. This set is still relatively valuable. On the flip side, Broken Keel, similar to Ageless, is outdated. It's not as outdated, but it's still overall outdated. So this is really a set that people would use if they do have stuff laying around. So for this case, it would mainly be something you would use Relic Remains on, especially nowadays, where Broken Keel isn't really a set you use too much. Glamoth and the Penacony set. Glamoth is still good. It's not as good as it used to be anymore, so a lot of characters don't use this. The characters that do benefit from damage and are able to reach the 160 speed requirement, this can be good, but frequently they do have a better set. Usually the only ones that don't, that are able to hit this speed threshold, are like E2 Zele. That's kind of like it. Kafka before buff was able to use this, but after buff you don't run any damaging set on her either. And if you were to have like an E4 plus Kafka where you build her as a DPS, in that case you would be using Revelry anyways. So overall, Glamoth, well, fine. It's not generally worth farming anymore. You can still use it on someone like Cypher at least, but even she has other options to use. Penacony, the set is good when it is applicable. You can throw it on Sparkle when paired with someone like Archer. You can throw it on Bronia when paired with someone like Anaxa. You just want to make sure you're getting a full effect of this, otherwise it's just a 5% energy regen rate and you're better off using something else. So overall, this world is not really recommended. If you need one or the other, Relic Remains. Next up is Unclaimed Desolation with Izumo. Unclaimed Desolation, this is mainly a pure fiction set. You don't necessarily use this on anyone. When fully stacked, it is good and you're able to get value out of it in other modes, but overall it's just better to run something else, as every character is going to have a different set that has less requirements and is able to perform better for the most part. And then we have Izumo, which this set, especially nowadays where crit rate isn't that hard to come by, the attack can be nice and the crit rate can be nice, but it's mainly just crit rate cope. Characters that do use this set frequently known as like the Herda or even someone like Acheron still. Honestly, on the Herda, you can just run Rutilant Arena, which provides just as much crit rate, almost just 4% less. Same with Acheron, you can just slap on something like Planar Fissure for her ultimate. Generally, I don't really recommend farming this anymore, unless you have insane pieces, but that would already mean you have them laying around, or it would let you get a really good build out just from the extra crit rate. Overall, I really just don't recommend farming this world. Now we have Duran and the Forge set. So Duran is the best in slot for every follow-up character that is able to stack it up quick enough. So counter units like Clara and Yunli can usually stack it up quickly. On a follow-up team with Fei Xiao and then another follow-up character, they can always stack it up quickly. And this is also the set that the upcoming character Astral is going to want to use for his overall main DPS and personal damage potential. This is still a overall valuable set. And the Forge set, this is the best in slot for every break character, especially now that the Dahlia is able to implant fire weakness because of the whole dance partner thing. So you're actually able to keep uptime on this no matter if the battle has fire weakness or not. Specifically on Firefly teams, and of course it's even better just because Firefly implants fire weakness, so there's always going to be uptime. With the Dahlia, there may be a little bit where you don't have it up, but not really enough to not warrant running the set. So if you run break and you run follow-up sets, this is probably one of the most valuable worlds. If you only do one or the other, of course, Relic remains. Then we have Lushaka and Bananamusement. Lushaka is just a very overall valuable set. It's so valuable to the point you can honestly just use this even if you don't need the other set. 5% energy regen rate, 12% attack for the character positioned first in the team lineup. Usually for every character that does scale off attack, you would be running this because it's just that good. Overall, one of, if not the best supportive set. On the flip side, we have Bananamusement. Alone, it only would really be a set you use on Aglia and then also Jingwan if you still use them. However, Danheng did activate a whole synergy with this where if you run Danheng Permentateria on the team and you attach it to the character that has Bondmate, and if the character that has Bondmate is running the set and doesn't have a summon, the summon is treated as a way to where it activates its full effect, giving you the full crit damage bonus. So if you are running Danheng on teams, you can actually put this on the main DPS. Sometimes it could be better than their other best in slots, sometimes it could be comparable or worse. Usually it is comparable or worse, so it really depends on if you want to do that, but it can be valuable. But even just for Lushaka, really every account can get a benefit from Lushaka. This is probably the only world I would recommend where if you only got benefit from Lushaka, you should still farm it. Lushaka is really just that valuable. Now we have the Bone set and the Giant Tree set. If you have any form of HP scaling DPS, you're gonna want the Bone set. Best in slot for Evernight, besides like one other set that you can kind of use. Castris is best on Tribi, Jinglu, Blade, My Day. It's just a overall valuable set. If you run any form of HP dealing DPS, you're going to want to run this. And practically almost every account probably has Tribi, so there's going to be some form of people that are going to benefit from that. Flip side, you have the Giant Tree set, which this is the best in slot for pure healing output, assuming you are able to hit the high thresholds. This is mainly the set you run on Hyacine just because it is best for healing output, and Hyacine has no problem hitting 180 speed or higher. But you can still use it on someone like Gallagher or Luocha, or whatever healer, as long as you are able to get the healing output. It gives you some speed to help you with that too. 135 gives you 12% healing output increase, so even at 135 it is good. Now if you are able to reach 180 in battle, you get the full effect to make it the best. So overall, this world is definitely recommended, but if you don't really have form of HP scalers and you just don't run them at all, then you would have less value. So in that case, Relic remains for one or the other. Now we have Arcadia and also Revelry. This is pretty simple. The only characters that can really use Arcadia are Evernight and Phynon. For Evernight, the difference between this and the Bone set aren't that great, and usually Bone is always better. For Phynon specifically, this is technically always his best in slot, but Rutilant is only around 2% worse. So if you really want to get that extra upgrade depending on your situation, then you could farm it. So if you're someone that has Phynon, of course this can always be an upgrade to consider. And on the flip side, this set is obvious. If you have any form of dot being ran, then you'd obviously want the set for the characters like Black Swan and Hycelines, or your third dot on the team that isn't Kafka, because Kafka would instead run Lushaka unless you have a high idle on Kafka where you are actually able to switch back in the damage. So this set would only be valuable for people that are running dot characters or have dot teams that they are actively running. So if you have that plus you have Phynon, of course this world would be valuable. I say Phynon only, again with Evernight too, but Evernight really would just benefit from Bone. It's just easier to use overall. But yeah, if you have a combination of that, of course, you can farm it. Otherwise, one or the other, being Relic Remains. And then if you have neither, of course, don't farm it. And then finally, we have the Amphoreous set and also the Tengoku set. So Amphoreous set is only realistically used on 2 characters, primarily Cyrene, but you can actually put this on RMC. Most accounts are going to have RMC, but it depends on if anyone actually wants to use this. If you gain the speed buff and it doesn't really put you on any thresholds to matter for speed, then it wouldn't really matter in that sense. But the crit rate is nice and the extra speed, it just helps what they do more. You'd only have to put it on one or the other, so this can also make it to where you can put your Cyrene for more damage by putting her on Bone and putting this on RMC instead. Or you can just put this on to your Cyrene, and if RMC is on the team, you can put another supporter set on RMC. You can do that as well. Flip side, we have the Tengoku set, which is going to be best in slot for anyone that is, of course, able to activate the full effect, being the whole consuming 3 or more skill points. If you have Donning Permensitera on the team, it's going to be the same exact effect as Bananamusement with the 48% crit damage total, but of course, this would be more applicable to characters that burn through skill points, so this is the overall best in slot for characters like Archer, and also the upcoming character Sparksy. Again, Bananamusement with Donning Permensitera activates the same effect, but this obviously complements them more and doesn't lock you to running Donning Permensitera. But for Archer specifically, just note that Rutilant Arena is also really not that much worse. For Sparksy specifically, this is like one of the only sets you can really use, so definitely do farm this if you are looking at getting Sparksy. So if you have Cyrene and or you want to run this on RMC and you just would go between setups, and maybe you have Archer and you want to run him on the set, or you're pulling the upcoming character Sparksy, then you would farm this, otherwise Relic Remains. That does wrap it up. So as you can really tell, it's really just pick a place that has 2 different sets that would benefit you, just so you get the best chance to not get complete garbage, because maybe you get a godlike piece on a different set, but you don't have those characters, so it doesn't matter. An example for me is I do kind of need a better Cyrene rope, and I would just like better Cyrene pieces in general, so this can be beneficial to me. While Tengoku said I actually wouldn't mind getting my Archer on the set because my Rutilant set isn't that great, so I most likely will be choosing this. So you just pick 2 just because you'd have better chances to get one or the other being good and not just complete garbage. If you click on this video specifically for someone like Asheville, like I mentioned, of course, Duran. And then if I had Yaguang in the thumbnail, I actually don't know who I'm putting on the thumbnail yet as I'm uploading or recording this. There's an elation planner that she is able to kind of use coming in 4.1. You can definitely just wait for that. For Yaguang, it's a bit iffy because she wants energy region from some of these planners, but that one doesn't give it, but that one increases elation, so it's kind of cool, but yeah, we don't know. Anyway, that's kind of how you want to go about it. I do hope you found this video helpful. If you did, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all the types of Star Wars content, and I'll see you later. Peace out.